class we have discussed about that is vibration and dampers. Okay, today we shall discuss about the insulators. Why we use insulators? Here the overhead line conductors are bare, that means when they don't have an insulation. Okay, air acts as an insulating medium. So here line conductors are bare without any insulating covering over them. Okay, while the metal structure in the form of towers is used to support live conductors. And here, to avoid the flow of current to the earth from the live conductors through the supports, there must be a safe clearance between the live conductors and the support. I don't know whether you observed or not. This is a This is a one type of pin type of insulator. You can observe here. This is a groove for conductor. That means it will hold the conductor. Okay, I'll explain in next. Okay, it has been that is to avoid the flow of current to the earth. For example, if any higher current flows in the conductor, that should not affect to the whole part. Okay, whole system, and should not shut down the whole system. So to avoid that, to avoid the flow of current to the earth from the live conductor. Okay, through supports there must be a clearance between the line conductor and also the supports. Okay, so live conductors must be perfectly insulated. We have not insulated the conductors. Overhead line conductors are not insulated. It is a bare without any insulating covering over them. Okay, so here they use insulators for uh, because to avoid the flow of current to the earth from the live conductors. Here the main function of the insulator is to provide perfect insulation between the live conductor and the supports. Well, supports, you know, pole. Okay, this is a pole, this is a conductor, and this is a pole. Okay, between live conductor and pole, it should not affect. Between one part should be there to provide a insulation. Okay, because the conductor don't have insulation here, it just only air acts as a insulating medium. So they need a insulation between the live conductor and also the supports. So to prevent any leakage current. Okay, if any leakage current in the live conductor, that should go to the earth. Okay, that live conductors to the earth through the supports. Okay, it should go to the earth through the support. How it live conductors not directly to the supports, it should go to the insulator. If any leakage current from the live conductors to earth, the supports, that is it will go to the directly to the supports. That should not happen. So insulators are provided to provide insulation between the live conductors and also the supports. Here properties of insulators. What are the properties should be there for insulators? This is an insulator provide necessary insulation between line conductors and supports, and it will prevent any leakage current from conductors to earth. It should not go to directly to the earth. Okay, so to provide to prevent that, we have used here insulator. And what are the properties of insulator here? Well, it should have these following properties. That is, first, high mechanical strength. Why we need high mechanical strength? In order to withstand conductor load, wind load, etc. Okay, if any rainfall or if any wind, okay, more wind, then it should withstand. Okay, the conductor should not fall down, and it should have a high mechanical strength in order to withstand conductor load and wind load, etc. Okay, if conductor weight is more, insulator should not have, it should have the mechanical strength so that it can hold tightly and it can hold properly. Okay, So if it is not, the insulator is not strong or mechanically strength is, if it is weak, then the conductor weight is more, then it will be, insulator will be fallen down. Okay, so that should not happen. High mechanical strength in order to withstand conductor load and wind load, etc. Next, high electrical resistance of an insulator material in order to avoid leakage currents to earth. Whatever the leakage current in the conductor, that should not go directly to the earth. Okay, that should not go to the earth. Okay, the insulator should avoid that. It should have a high electrical resistance so that it will avoid leakage currents. Okay, it will absorb. And next, high relative permittivity of insulator material in order that dielectric strength is high. And next is, the insulator material should be non-porous. Why it should be non-porous? Because dust will fall on the insulator. That should not observe. Okay, inside the dust should not observe. Okay, that dust should, if it is dust, then it will be somewhat some impurities on insulator, then it starts losses. Okay, losses will be more. So to avoid that, it should be non-porous and free from impurities and cracks. Okay, cracks should not be there on the insulator. The otherwise cracks, otherwise the permittivity will be lowered. Okay, the strength of that insulator will be less. It's the non-porous and impurities. And next is a high ratio of puncture strength to flashover. These are the properties that insulator should have. Okay, first is high mechanical strength, high electrical resistance, high relative permittivity, and the insulator material should be non-porous and free from cracks and also impurities, and high ratio of puncture strength to flashover. Next is insulator materials. What are the insulator materials we use here? Okay. First is a porcelain. Here the porcelain, this is most commonly used material for the insulator. It's a ceramic material. Porcelain is a most commonly used material for the insulators, and it is a ceramic material. Here from how it is manufactured means, it is manufactured from the China clay. Okay, and the plastic clay is mixed with the silicon and feldspar. Once again I say, it is manufactured from China clay, and here the plastic clay and it is mixed with the silicon and feldspar. These three is by using these three elements we have they have manufactured the porcelain. Okay, here the fine powdered mixture of clay, silicon, feldspar is processed in mills, and it is heated at the controlled temperature, and it has been given a particular shape, and it is covered with a glass. Okay, they have given a particular shape for insulator, and it is covered with a glass. Why they are covered with a glass? To it should not absorb the dust. Okay, soft area. Okay, iron with a galvanized. The cast iron with a galvanized is used for the metal parts inside the insulator. Inside the insulator, there is what they have used. The cast iron with galvanizing is used for the metal parts inside the insulator. Okay, how they will prepare the porcelain means by using clay and that is silicon feldspar. Okay, that powdered is processed in mill, and that is heated at a controlled temperature. Then you will get the porcelain, and that they will form into particular shape of an insulator, and it is covered with a glass. Okay, next the inside that, okay, inside the insulator they have made the cast iron with the galvanizing. Okay, cast iron with the galvanizing is used for the metal part. Okay, is used for the metal parts inside the insulator. The porcelain is free from cracks. Okay, you know about cracks, right? if any cracks, that will absorb moisture content. Okay, that will affect to the insulator, and the insulating properties will be reduced. That should not happen, because if any leakage current in the conductor, that should it will avoid, that should not go directly to the earth. Okay, the insulator should avoid that. Okay, if any cracks on the insulator, that will absorb moisture content, and it will reduce the properties of insulator, and that will affect to the whole system. Okay, so the porcelain is free from cracks, holes, laminations, etc. Here insulation resistance is very high. Okay, insulation resistance is very high. Porcelain is heated at the temperature, at which temperature they have heated means porcelain, the insulator become mechanically strong. Okay, until it become mechanically strong, at that, until that they have heated. Okay, porcelain is heated at the temperature such that the insulators become mechanically strong. Okay, and it also becomes remains non-porous. That means porous means small holes. Okay, that should not be there. Non-porous means no holes on that insulator. The rough surface, wide rough surface catches the dust and moisture very quickly. Hence, it is important to provide a glassed surface. I already told why they use glassed surface means, if we use a rough surface, that will catch the dust and also moisture very quickly. So it is important to provide a glassed surface of the insulator, so that it remains clean from dust and moisture. Okay, it remains clean from dust and also moisture. That should, if it is, why we need clean means, that is actually one reason, and it should not affect to the inside parts of the insulator. If it is any porous, then it's gone observing the moisture content, then inside parts will be affected. Okay, that should not happen. So they have glassed the surface of the insulator. Next, the dielectric strength of the porcelain insulator is about 60 kV per centimeter. Next is glass. Here glass also can be used instead of porcelain. They have used glass also can be used instead of porcelain. The glass is made tough by heat treatment, which is called annealing. Okay, the glass also can be used instead of porcelain. The glass is made tough by heat treatment, which is called annealing. Here the glass insulators have the following advantages. What are the advantages? As transparent. Okay, if glass means, that is transparent, and the cracks, bubbles and defects in the insulator can be easily detected by inspection. If we see only, we can observe that it have a bubbles, cracks, if any cracks, and if any defects in the insulator, we can identify easily. And it is cheaper than porcelain. When you compare with the cost, it is cheaper than porcelain, and the resistivity also very high. Okay, here simple design is possible, and high compressive strength than porcelain, low coefficient of thermal expansion, hence here it will affected by the temperature changes. Dielectric strength is very high in glass material. Okay, what about disadvantage? Less stronger than porcelain. Okay, when you compare with the stronger, it is less strong. Okay, what about this is a high tension system. Heavy mass of insulator can cause internal strain. Okay, heavy mass of insulator, for example, we are using for 11 kV means only one disc is used. If we are gone increasing the voltage level, then the disc will be increased here. Okay, I'll say in further topics. Okay, what do you mean by disc? That is, each disc will have the some voltage level. Okay, 11 kV like that. So in high tension system, the heavy mass of insulator can cause internal strain. Okay, Here, it cannot be molded in irregular shape. That is the main thing here. And chances of moisture condensation, that is it have a chances of observing. Okay, it will observe the moisture content. That moisture content on the surface are which can cause a higher leakage current. Okay, if we observe the moisture content, it can cause a higher leakage current. These are the disadvantages and advantages of glass. And next is a synthetic resin. Here, synthetic resin insulators are manufactured from the components of silicon, rubber, resin. Okay, three elements: silicon, rubber, and resin. These insulators have the following advantages. That is, one is a tensile strength is high and weight is low, comparatively cheaper. Weight is low, tensile strength is high, and comparatively cheaper. But high leakage current and short life. Okay, this have a high leakage current and short life are the main limitations of these insulators. Go for the porcelain only. Now we shall discuss with the types of insulators. Can anyone answer what are the types of insulators? I've already displayed on types of insulator. First is pin type insulator, and second is suspension type insulator. Third is strain insulator, and fourth is shackle insulator, and fifth is a stay insulator. Just we shall discuss about few points regarding this. Pin type insulator. You can observe this is a pin type insulator. Insulators are used for the transmission of lower voltages. Okay, we have used pin type is used for lower voltages. A single pin type insulator is used to transmit voltages up to 11 kV, and higher voltages require 2, 3 or 4 piece pin insulator. I've already said here they may call piece, that is a piece, or they may call disc. Okay, this is a disc. This is nothing but disc. Okay, now in this diagram there is a two disc. Okay, two disc. Each disc is 11 kV. If you want to increase the voltage level, they will increase the disc. Okay, they are not economically feasible for 33 kV and higher transmission lines. Okay, they are not economically, if we go on increasing the voltage level, just it is up to 11 kV or 33 kV, below 33 kV. Pin type insulators are secured with a steel or lead bolts. Okay, here pin type insulators are secured with steel or lead bolts. And also we can see that here on the upper, you can see here groove for conductor. That is, it here the conductor is placed. Okay, here the conductor is placed. This will be connected to tower. Okay, you can observe this figure. I think this figure. Okay, here the conductor is here. Conductor is connected. What they use? They may use copper wire or aluminum wire. That they will turn. Here you can observe this will be. This is a 4 to 5 times they will bind a wire. Okay, binding wire should cover at least 4 to 5 times before it ends or wrapped with the conductor. Here the conductor they may use a copper or aluminum of same material they use for binding. Okay, here sheds are used. If any rain falls on the insulator, rainy season, at that situation sheds are used. Sheds will not absorb the moisture content or water from the outside. Okay, it will not absorb. It will prevent inside the parts. Okay, inside parts are prevented from that. To keep the inner side of the insulator dry, so the rain shades are provided. That is, surfaces are provided with petticoats. Okay, this is a galvanized steel pin. And next, what we can say, this is a pin type insulator, low voltage, and it is secured with a steel or lead bolts, and these are typically used for straight running transmission lines. Okay, this if we want to increase the voltage level, we should increase require higher voltage, require 2, 3 or 4 disc, you can say. Okay, next, suspension type insulators. Here the conductor is suspended at the bottom end of the string, while the other end of the string is secured to the cross arm of the tower. You can observe here, it is a cross arm. Okay, and here the line conductor. Each unit or disc is designed for voltage say 11 kV. I have already told this is each unit or disc is designed for a voltage level that is say 11 kV. Okay, the number of disc in series, would obviously depend upon the working voltage. If you want to increase the voltage level, then we will increase the disc. Okay, here they are saying if the working voltage is 66 kV. Okay, if the working voltage is 66 kV, then how many discs they will use? 6 discs in series will be provided on the string. Okay, this is the total we call the string. Here, suspension type transmission line insulators suspend and support high voltage transmission lines. These are used at a high voltage transmission lines. They are cost effective for higher voltage transmission. They are replacing multiple pin type insulators. Suspension type insulators have a number of interconnected porcelain discs with each individual unit designed to support a particular voltage. That is, it have a so many discs in this suspension type. Okay, they can use. It is used for especially high voltage transmission. Okay, pin type can be replaced, typically replacing multiple pin type insulators. Similar, okay, pin type insulator and this suspension type insulator somewhat similar. Type insulator. Here, strain type insulator, you can observe this is used for the high voltage transmission line. Strain insulators consist of an assembly of a suspension insulators as shown in the figure. You can observe it is in the horizontal. Okay, the disc of a strain insulator are used in the vertical plane when the tension in lines is exceedingly high. At long river spans, 2 or more strings are used in the parallel. Okay, it is used means in rivers. Okay, exceedingly high, when tension is high in the lines, and at long river spans, and 2 or more strings are used in the parallel. Here, strain insulator, this is a strain insulator, and here the conductor is connected. This is a pole or support. Next is a shackle type insulator. Here, unlike strain insulator, shackle insulators are designed to support lower voltages. It is especially designed to support lower voltages. These insulators are single round porcelain part that are mounted horizontally or vertically. You can observe here, these insulators are single and round porcelain parts that are mounted horizontally or vertically. In early days, the shackle insulators were used as an strain insulators. Okay, in before days or early days, the shackle insulators only they were using as strain insulators. But nowadays, they are frequently used for low voltage distribution lines. Such insulators can be used either in horizontal position or in a vertical position. They may use a horizontal position or vertical position. This is especially used for distribution. Okay, they can be directly fixed to the pole with the bolt or to the cross arm. Okay, they can directly fix it to the pole, or they can use a to the cross arm. Okay, this is a bolt here, and this one, this is a shackle insulator. Next is a stay type insulator. You might have seen this one. Stay type insulators are also called egg insulators and are primarily used to prevent stay wires from becoming energized from accidentally broken live wires. That is, it should have stay insulators are mounted at height of at least 3 meters from ground level. You have seen, right? One pole will be there, one wire like this it will be. Okay, for pole. Okay, for some distances they will use a stay type insulator. Why they have used to prevent stay wires from becoming energized from accidentally. For example, any lightning occurs, that should not broken live wires. Okay, here function to provide a insulation between stay clamps and transmission poles. Stay insulators are mounted where it is mounted means it is at least 3 meters from ground. This is about types of insulators. Next, line supports. This is a line supports, supporting structure for overhead line conductors or various types of poles and towers called line supports. You know about the line supports, right? It may be a pole or it may be a tower. Supporting structure for overhead lines. Okay, overhead line or overhead line conductors are various types, that is poles and towers are called line supports. Here, what are the properties? It should have a high mechanical strength. Okay, why it should have a high mechanical strength? It should withstand, right? It should withstand the weight of the conductor and also wind load. Okay, wind load, etc. And it should have a light in weight without the loss of mechanical strength. They have said that light in weight, if it is light in weight, then that pole or tower don't have mechanical strength means that is not the property. Okay, it should have a light weight and it should not be less mechanical strength. It should have a high mechanical strength and it should be cheap in cost and economical to maintain, and it should have a longer life. Easy accessibility of conductors for maintenance. Easy accessibility of conductors for maintenance means, for example, if the pole is full soft, then whether lineman can climb? No, it is not possible. So easy accessibility of conductor for maintenance. For maintenance, it should be easy. Okay. Supporting structure. Here, the choice of supporting structure for a particular case, it depends on the line span, sectional area, voltage and cost and local conditions. These are the factors that they will choose by these factors. Okay, by seeing these factors only they will decide the supporting structure for particular case. The here types of poles, types of supporting structures. First is a wooden pole. What you when you listen a wooden pole, whether you are seeing nowadays wooden pole, before days, early days, they were used to they were used wooden poles. Now it is almost cement. Okay, as is cement, that is cement poles only we are seeing nowadays, cement and steel poles. Okay, wooden poles, they are made of seasoned wood and are suitable for lines of moderate x-sectional area of relatively shorter span. Okay, here they are shorter span and it is say up to 50 meter. Okay, distance is 50 meters and a shorter span, and this is a cheap, easily available and insulating properties. Here it has a insulating properties. They are widely used for, this is used for distribution purpose in rural areas. That too it is economical. Okay, wooden poles are generally 10 to foot below the ground level. For example, okay, this is a wooden pole, you think. Okay, this is a ground, this is a ground. Then For example, if this is a wooden pole, so it will be somewhat some insects will bite and it will be get damaged here. So to avoid that, what they will do, they are saying that wooden poles generally tend to rot below the ground level, causing foundation failure. This is what foundation only, it gets failure to the somewhat insects, or it will get affected. Okay, in order to prevent that, the portion of the pole below the ground level, okay, and the portion of the pole below the ground level is impregnated with somewhat, they use a creosote oil, okay, to avoid that. Okay, if we use a creosote oil, some it life will be somewhat it is increased. Okay, in order to prevent this portion of the pole below the ground level, it is impregnated with a preservative compounds like creosote oil. And here a double pole structure of the A or H type, or here it that is to obtain a higher transverse strength than could be economical provided by means of a single pole. Here the main objections, why they are objecting the wooden poles, we don't want the wooden poles, means disadvantages means the tendency to rot below the ground level and comparatively smaller life, that is 20 to 25 years, and it cannot be used for voltages higher than 20 kV, and it is a less mechanical strength, require a periodical inspection. Okay, it need a periodical inspection. These are the disadvantages. These are the A type and H type wooden poles. This is a cross arm and this is a insulator, you can observe, and this is a steel bracing. Next is a steel poles. Steel poles are often used as a substitute for wooden poles. Instead of wooden poles, this is somewhat advanced, little bit. They possess a greater mechanical strength, longer life, and longer spans, and it is generally used for distribution purpose in the cities. This type of supports need a galvanized or painted in order to prolong its life. Somewhat, if we use a steel means your rainfall. Okay, rainfall, and what about the steel pole will become, okay, it will become brown color, that is the corrosion. Okay, rusted, it will be rusted. To avoid that, what we need to do here, galvanized or painted. Okay, this type of supports need to be galvanized or painted in order to provide, in order to prolong, increase its life. Okay, here the steel rail poles, tubular poles, rolled steel joints. You have observed rail poles, tubular poles, rolled steel joints. One second, I'll show. This is a wooden pole, steel poles. These are the tubular pole, and this is a rail pole. Okay, you can observe everything. These are the tubular pole and rail pole. RCC poles. This you will be knowing more. Okay, this you have you will see daily. Okay, reinforced cement concrete. Advantages. Reinforced concrete poles have become very popular as line supports in recent years. They have a greater mechanical strength, longer life, and permit longer span than steel poles. And it has a moreover, they have a good outlook, require little maintenance, and good insulating properties. And holes in the poles. Okay, holes in the poles so that lineman can climb easily. Okay, at the same time reduce the weight of the line supports also. You holes in the poles, right, that will reduce the weight of the line supports. These are the advantages in this. Here the main difficulty with the use of these poles is the highest cost of transport owing. Here the main difficulty is highest cost of transport to their heavy weight. Therefore, such poles are often manufactured at the site in order to avoid heavy cost of transportation. Next is the steel towers. In practice, steel towers means towers only used for transmission purpose. In practice, wood and steel Reinforced concrete poles are used for, these are poles used for a distribution purpose at low voltages, say up to 11 kV. And these steel towers are used more than 11 kV for long distance transmission and also for high voltages. Here, steel towers have a great mechanical strength and longer life. It can withstand most severe climate conditions, and it can be used for a longer span. And it has a double circuit advantages here. It ensures a continuity of supply, double circuit. Okay. In case of breakdown of one circuit, and the continuity of supply can be maintained by the other circuit. This is what here there were, you can observe these types single circuit tower, and this is the double circuit tower. This is a double circuit tower. If in case this will if any fault occur in this line, this we can use. Okay, we can use this one like that. Double circuit, if any one circuit is failure, then we can go with the other circuit. Okay, that is what advantage in double circuit. In next class, I'll discuss with the other topics, that is in first module. We shall discuss with the string efficiency or types of conductors. Okay. These are the, today we have discussed about line supports and also insulators. Insulators properties and also materials and types of insulators, and line supports also properties and types of line supports.